All right. Oh, frozen computer. Well, while we're waiting, you guys could fill in that first bit. What are the 4 ways you can write a linear function? There's 4 different versions that I've given you. 2 of them are almost exactly the same. The other 2 are different. If you don't remember, sit there and look pretty, and eventually the answer will appear on the screen. So, what's one way we can write a linear function? Anyone? Anyone? You just did a unit on this.
Is it point slope?
Sure, point slope form. Point slope. And that is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Excellent. What's another way? Slope-intercept. You're on fire today, Carlin. I haven't decided if Bobcat's going to stick. I like it, but I don't know. I think it will be good only when it snows. Third way? General form. Yes, sir. Get it? General form? Major idiot. That's what you guys are thinking of me right now. Get it?
I got it.
Yeah. Huh? Why do you know what it's like to be in the army? Just because he's bald? I'm bald. I don't know what it's like to be in the army. And what's the 4th way? Standard form.
Jordan. Shut up, buddy.
Okay. Now, what do you see that is common to all 4 methods? X and Y. X, Y. That is a point. It is coordinates. And it can sub into any form. Not any from, you idiot. Major idiot. Yes, general form. Any form. If you have any point on the graph, it doesn't matter what one you have here, the x and the y can go in there. Okay? Is everybody with me? For some reason, that fact gets lost in these 2 units. And I don't really know why. Okay? The x and the y can go in here anywhere that it says x and y. Now, the other thing you have to remember for this section is do not forget that slope can also be found with x's and y's. Right? We have to remember that too. Is everybody good? All right. So now, we're not going to graph at all. We're not going to touch a graph in this unit. It's all going to be algebraic. Okay? So, step 1, find the linear function that has that slope and that y-intercept. So what form should I use? Slope-intercept, because that's what I've got here, right? Y equals mx plus b. Fill in what you know. Y equals, what's my slope? 5x plus, what's my y-intercept? 4. That is what I am starting with. Now, do algebra. Standard form, general form. Easy one, right? No brackets, no fractions. What do I got to do? I got to make this look like that. And then that. So what's got to move to do this one? The 4 could move, and the y has to move. So if I move the y, I'm starting with y equals 5x plus 4. Carlin said I've got to move the 4 because the constant has to be by itself, so I'm going to move that over there. And Jazreet says the y's got to move, I got to move that over there. Negative 4 equals 5x minus y. That's okay. Is that the same as that? It looks backwards, but it's the same, isn't it? Because it doesn't matter where I put that negative 4. It still equals 5x minus y. Everybody cool? What's got to move over here? I'm starting with y equals 5x plus 4. What's got to move here? Just the y. 5x minus y plus 4 equals 0. And that is all you're doing this unit. Moving stuff around. That's it. Again, it's not even a real unit. Everybody okay? All right. This next one, what form do I have? What have I got from the question? I've got a slope and a point. So what form am I going to use? Point slope form. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And what do I remember that is special about the x1 and the y1? That's the point we know. So all I got to do is write it out. Y minus, what's the y point that we know? Negative 2. So it's y minus minus 2, which is what? Y plus 2 equals m is slope, 2/3, x minus, what's the x point? 6. And it's done. Everybody cool? Everybody should have been able to do that from last unit, right? At the very, very end of last unit, we started chitty-chatting about moving these around, right? We were just mentioning it. It's the focus here. Take that and change it into standard and general and slope-intercept form. Now, here's a mistake that a lot of you make. You see A, B, C, and you do it in that order. I don't like to do that way. I like to go in whatever order works best for me. And personally, I think it's easiest to go to this form first. Because I already have y by itself, right? The only difference between point slope form and y equals mx plus b form is y is by itself and I get rid of the brackets. So that's the way I personally would attack this question. How you guys do it is up to you. But I would go here first. Does everybody understand why? I know. I have to say it though. Does everybody understand the reason with which I have used to come to this conclusion? Excellent. So let's do that. What's got to happen here to make this look like this? Move the 2. Excellent. So Carlin's going to move the 2 first. No problem. 2/3 x minus 6 minus 2. Right? I'm almost there. What's in the way now? Brackets. You guys are bad with fractions and brackets, but you don't need to be. 2/3 x. Now, I got to multiply 2/3 by 6. I'm going to come over here and do that in red. 2/3 times 6. What is 6 really? 6 over 1. Right? Now, you could do some canceling, or you could just do the Mrs. Bag Crumble multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is what? 4. So what goes right here? Minus 4 minus 2. Right? Because I got that minus 2 there. Then what do I do? Negative 4 minus 2. I collect like terms, just like I've been doing since the 9th grade. Negative 6. And I'm done. Right? Now, if I want standard form, or general form, yes, sir. What do I got to do to this to make it look like this? What's the only thing you see in that blue one that isn't there? Fraction. Once I get rid of the fraction, I'm in business. Right? So what I've got right now is y equals 2/3 x minus 6. I can't have that fraction there. How do I get rid of a fraction? Multiply by the denominator, right? Let's try to use the one that always works. So I got to multiply by 3. If I multiply one of them by 3, what do I have to do to the other ones? The same thing. So I got to multiply this guy by 3. I got to multiply this guy by 3. I got to multiply this guy by 3. And what do I end up with? What's 3 times y? 3y equals. What happens to the 3's here? Yeah, they cancel. 2x minus, what's 3 times 6? 18. Am I almost here? What do I have to remember about x in both of these forms? Has to stay positive. Is he positive? So should I touch him? No, I should move everything else. 2x minus 3y equals what? 18. And I'm done. How do I make that guy look like that guy? Move 18. And now that guy's done. Is everybody cool? Now please notice that this is also helpful for the last unit, yes? Because if you have an equation like this that you need to graph, and you can move it into either slope-intercept or point-slope, then it's super easy to graph, right? All right. So, one more step further. Find the equation of the line that goes through those points, but I want it in slope-intercept form. So what do I need to do? Write it out. Okay, so you know you want slope-intercept form. Right? So y and x. Oh, I got lots of y's and x's, so that's covered. Do I have an m? I got to find m, don't I? Right. So I'm going to work to find m first. M is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What's our slope? You figure it out. Because I don't want to force you into which is x1 and which is y1. You guys decide which one you want, and then tell me the slope. Just go ahead and call it out when you get a slope. 1/3. Lovely. So 1/3. So now I know y equals 1/3 x plus b. Right? All I need now is b. There are so many ways I could do this. Do I now have a slope? And do I have 2 points? So I could do 2 different point slope forms, couldn't I? Do I have an x value? Do I have a y value? Is there an x and a y in this equation? So could I put them in there? Do I have an x value there? Do I have a y value there? Could I put them in there? Yeah. And then that would leave me with b all by itself, wouldn't it? Any one of those 3 methods would work. I don't care which one you use, right? That's the whole point of this. I'm not trying to show you how to do it. I'm trying to show you ways to do the question, because sometimes one way will work and other times another way will work. So you have to practice with them all and decide which one you're going to use. I personally would go with one of these in here right now to get b. Does it matter which one I use? No. So if I use the red ones, what's going in for y? 5 equals 1/3. What's going in for x? 1 plus b. 5 equals 1/3 plus b. If I move that third over there, I have 5 minus 1/3, yes? If I have 5 pizzas and I take away 1/3 of a pizza, I'm left with 4 2/3 of a pizza, aren't I? So that's b. Everyone with me? What if I use the blue ones? What goes in for y? 4 equals 1/3 times what goes in for x? -2 plus b. 4 equals -2/3 plus b. When I bring that 2/3 over, what happens to that negative? It becomes positive, so I have 4 plus 2/3, which is 4 2/3 equals b. What? Same thing. Right? And if I did point slope form, I could just sub either one of them in as well. Everybody cool? Okay. Oh, so we never actually wrote it out. What should the final answer look like? Y equals 1/3 x plus 4 2/3. Everybody cool? All right. Read 6 and tell me what form you would use. There's a trick there. I messed with your heads. Because when you read it, I expect most of you will say what? Slope-intercept form, right? Because you saw the word slope and you saw the word intercept. Except, what does that say? The x-intercept. Right? So slope-intercept form uses the y-intercept, correct? You don't know the y-intercept. You know the x-intercept. So you could go y equals 5/3 x plus b. Correct? Would that be okay? Now, do you have an x and a y to put in there to find b? Yeah, you do. The x-intercept is what? X comma 0. But you know it's 2, so what is it? 2 comma 0. Is there an x and a y? Is there an x and a y? So could we put that in over here? Could we? What would go in for y? 0 equals 5/3. What would go in for x? 2 plus b. 0 equals 10/3 plus b. b equals negative 10/3. Now, can you make the equation? What would the equation be? Plus? Minus 10/3. Is that cool? Since this is a point, could I also have done point slope form? Could I have done this? Since it's 2, y minus 0 equals 5/3 x minus 2. Could I have done that? Would that have been okay? Could you hand that in to me for number 6? Yes. Except you probably wouldn't have had y minus 0, right? Probably would have just written it as y. Both of them are acceptable. Everybody cool? Okay. Find the equation that goes through that line, that point. So I have a point and is parallel to that. Is that a hint? What does parallel mean? Yep. So what does that tell us in what we're doing right now? Yeah. So what does that tell us about? It tells us something about it. Yeah. Parallel tells us it's got the same slope. Do I know this guy's slope right now? Yeah. Not yet. Why? How could I find this guy's slope? Could I do a table of values? Yeah. Could I put him in slope-intercept form? Yeah. Which one do you want to do? Okay, go ahead and do it. Tell me the slope that I'm dealing with. How are you going to find that slope? What do I got to do to get it the slope? Move the 2 over. 4y equals negative 2x. Do I even care about the 7? No, because I only need slope, don't I? Okay, so now what do I got to do here? Divide by 4. So the slope is negative 1/2. So now, do I have a slope and a point? So can I do point slope form? What would it be? Y minus, what's the known y value? 1 equals m. What's my slope? Negative 1/2. X minus the known x value. What's the known x value? Negative 3. So it's minus 3. So what is it? Plus 3. And now that guy's done. What about this guy? Do I have a point? Yep. Does this give me a hint? What is the hint that that gives me? What do I know about perpendicular slopes? Negative reciprocal. So if I know this slope, I know the slope I need, right? Because once I find this slope, what am I going to do to it? Flip it and change the sign. So I got to find that slope. Remember at the beginning of Unit 6, at the very, very beginning, very first lesson, I said, if you ever don't know what to do, what should you do? Oh, come on. Oh, don't do this to me. This embarrasses me immensely. And that's blank. At some point, I said, when in doubt, find the slope. At some point over the course of the last few weeks. So, when in doubt, find the slope. How am I going to find that slope? Do I care about the 5? Nope. X plus 8y. Move the x. 8y equals negative 1x. Divide by 8. Y equals negative 1/8 x. That's the slope I have. What is the slope I need? Because of that word. Eight. I need my slope to equal positive 8. Do I now have a slope and a point? Great. What is the form? Y plus 2 equals and now that guy's done. Everybody good? Now, I lied to you a little bit. I did. I said we wouldn't be using a graph, but I do want you to do the equations. So we'll start with A. What form would be good to use for A? Is slope-intercept a good idea? You can look at it right on your sheet. It's a little hard to see up here. Is slope-intercept a good one to use for A? Why not? Pardon me? It doesn't cross a specific point at the intercept, does it? So, point intercept is out. Is point slope form okay? Why? What do I have right there? I have a point, don't I? It goes through a spot. What do I have right there? A point. Can I find the slope? Once I have the slope and I have 2 points, so I have point slope form? Great, do it. There's 2 possible answers for that because I have given you 2 different points. Either one of those are acceptable. What would I use for B? Probably use point slope form again, right? Who chooses the points? You do. And once you have those points, who finds the slope? You do. And then you just write it out. I personally would use that point right there and that point right there. C and D, for some reason, nobody seems to be able to remember how to do them. Even though we did it to death in grade 9. What is C's equation? It is an undefined slope, so you can't put it in point slope form or slope-intercept form. Excellent. What do you know about C? What is that point right there? That's 5, 2. What's that point right there? What's that point right there? 5, 0. What's that point right there? Five, negative 2. What's that point right there? 5, negative 4. What do you notice about all of that? It's the same. X equals 5. That's that line. So, after being reminded of that from the 9th grade, you should now be able to tell me what D is without even thinking about it. If X equals 5 gives me a vertical line, what must D be? Anybody? Thank you. And finally, E. What form can you use with E? Slope-intercept, because you know it right there, yeah? Then you just choose another point. I would use that one. Y equals 2/7 x minus 6. And everybody should be good there. Now, 223. What do I have right there? X. What do I have right there? So, if I know any coordinates, can I work with this equation? Because I would know the x and the y, wouldn't I? Okay. Does this give me coordinates? What are they? 3, 0. The 3 is what? X. The 0 is Y. So how do I work with that and this? How do I work with this information and that? The 2y, it drops out because 0 goes in there. So that would go there and drop it out. Where would the 3 go? Right there. So I would have 9 minus k equals 0. I'm trying to find k, aren't I? So what do I do to get k by itself? Move k over here. So 9 equals k. Everybody cool? So now you should be able to do the rest of these, right? By yourself, yeah? So let's do that. There's the first one, 9 equals k. X-intercept to negative 2. Find your x and your y, plug it in, tell me the answer. Who has an answer for B? I know you do. All right, Jazri, what is it? Yes, it is. Carry on to C. And there is the rest of them. The point is, anytime you know x's and y's, where are they allowed to go? Anywhere you see an x and a y. Okay? That's the whole point. Point. All right? I'm done. You are done. We actually did get through this whole unit, little mini unit thing today. Here's what your next thing in your book, and I'll show you guys those right answers again. -6, 14, 4, and -6. Your next thing in your book should be a unit assignment on page 224, yeah? That's due Thursday. Okay? Because you have a test tomorrow. All right? You got 12 minutes left in class. You could work on this if you want. It is helpful for tomorrow's test. Or you can go back and look at your reviews. I don't care. Or you can do what you're going to do, which is sit and talk to each other and do no math at all. But that's okay too. All right?